I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it after? Where did all the why do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren and Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.
So hello again, it's Quick Question. It's a podcast, two best friends and comedy writers. Here it is, we're doing it right now from the start. I'm your host, Daniel O'Brien, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Soren Bowie. Hey, Soren.
Man, filler it's got like this special, like I used to just ignore filler all the time. But filler, the more and more that I experience filler, like as I've gotten older, I found a real appreciation for it. From the start.
From the start.
Doing it.
Yeah.
From the start. Thanks to Shopify for supporting Quick Question. Shopify is a platform designed for anyone to sell anywhere, giving entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/QQ. Bye, I'm Soren. I'm a writer for American Dad. Pleasure to be here.
It seems like it should be easy to just talk like a human being. And we were doing it seconds before we started doing the show, just chatting with each other.
Yeah.
But then once the self-imposed pressure of recording comes on, it really throws me for a loop.
Well, you have to announce. You have to. The process of announcing anything is a nightmare because you have to be a few steps ahead. You don't want to get stuck anywhere. Mm-hmm. And while you're thinking ahead, you're counting on your mouth to just do to follow in the wake and negotiate what needs to be said. And sometimes your mouth is like, oh, I wasn't ready for this. We're doing it hard all the way to the stands.
Can I be vulnerable with you and our listeners and viewers right now?
Yeah, I think so.
And later today, I'm recording as a guest for Behind the Bastards, a podcast that is run by my former intern, Robert Evans, whose fame and power and wealth and influence have greatly eclipsed both of ours.
Come on. He'll always be an intern in my heart.
Absolutely. And it's I think a pretty good opportunity to plug our podcast on it. Not just because his show is much bigger than ours, but also I feel like a lot of the cracked fans have followed onto the Daily Zeitgeist and the iHeart and Cool Zone Media empires. And I was like, oh, if there's a chance to get some of those people and get them, if they don't know, they might not know we're doing this. So this would be a good opportunity for us to reach those folks. And I've scripted out how I'm going to plug our podcast because I did not trust myself to be like, oh, thank you for asking. I do a podcast with Soren. It's about blah, 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 blah. And you can find it here. I had to write it out because I don't.
That was smart.
I feel like it needs to be, I'm not going to trust myself in the moment to describe a thing I do every single week.
Yeah, I did Creature Feature recently with my old intern, Katie Golden. And on Creature Feature, she was like, where can people find you? And I was like, I don't know, Culver City? And she was like, no, what, do you have a podcast? And I was like, oh yeah, I do. Yeah. What is that thing called?
We're pretty cavalier about telling people on this podcast that we can be found on Bluesky. I don't know how I would get someone there other than just saying you could just you go to Google Daniel O'Brien Bluesky, and I'm pretty sure you'll get there. I don't actually think I know what my handle is.
Oh, you don't?
Because I don't think I poured it over DOB_INC from Twitter and Instagram.
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, but you were that on Instagram as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, on Blue Sky, I was an early adopter of Blue Sky because there were a bunch of different ones. It was a time when I really needed to be off of Twitter because I was really upset with what was happening. And I didn't like the idea of Instagram, and Threads was happening, and Mammoth? No. What was the other one?
Mastodon?
Mastodon. And Blue Sky. And I was like, I'm just going to have to pick one of these. And I was like, Blue Sky it is. And then I was like, this is just where I will live from now on. This is the only place I will go. And this is it. No matter how many followers I have, this is it. And I'll tell you, not many.
Sure.
It wasn't, not exactly everybody from X came on over.
But you're an early enough adopter that you could perch on the Soren Buoy handle, and own it.
No.
I think I might be Daniel O'Brien, but I'm not positive on that, and I'm not going to find out now.
No.
The thing that here's continued vulnerability about what I'm worried about when I plug our show that I've been doing with you for 5+ years at this point.
Yeah.
If Evans interrupts me while I'm doing the plug, I'm going to be like visibly and audibly flustered. I really hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't jump in while I'm describing our past or the show.
Yeah,
I hope he doesn't like. I hope he just opens the door for me to plug and doesn't describe the podcast first, because that'll throw me too. I really need a lot of runway to get out this paragraph of plug. But we're not here to talk about Behind the Bastards. We're here to talk about our show. Quick question with Soren and Daniel.
Are we going to talk about it? Because I don't think I want to do that either. I think I'd rather just talk to you.
I should be pretty clear right now. I'm only capable of talking about it in a very specific way when I've been set up, and I have not been set up. So we just need to move on to talk about something else.
I should give a warning here that you may hear what sounds like construction happening in my house. And you may notice that I'm in a different location than normal. I'm currently working on my garage, so it looks a little less like the pantry from The Shining when I use it as an office. It's just time. It was time 6 years ago, but I'm finally doing it. So garage is getting gutted.
That's fun. My garage is very high, like on my personal dream list of what I would get changed about this house. Mm-hmm. But where it is on the reality list is so far down. Yeah. It just might as well not be a thought.
It's so I'm sure that you've probably had these by now because you've lived in your house long enough. You will have dreams. Every homeowner has dreams that they discover new rooms in their house, or that their house is much bigger than they remembered. And they're like, oh, I haven't been using this whole other wing. And the excitement that comes along with like just having more space.
Yeah.
And boy, I'm sure you can hear that. There's a buzzsaw going right now.
But it's okay. We'll move past it.
And now we're going to have that. We're going to have like an extra space. I'll tell you kind of what I'm doing there is sort of like a rec roomish thing. It's going to be an office, but there'll also be sort of a living roomish area where you could watch TV in there. Like a very cool office. But the most exciting part is that we're vaulting the ceiling of it, so it goes all the way to the actual, the true roof of the garage. Ooh. And then we're putting a loft in half of it for my children that they don't know about yet.
What's it going to be for your children to do? Just like hang? Smoke weed?
Smoke weed, yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be a loft for them to play in. It's just like a secret space, basically, that they don't know about yet. And they're going to not find out about until basically it's done.
That's so exciting. I thought when you first started talking about this, I thought this was going to be a story about home projects that just never get done, which is something that I'm coming to terms with because we bought this house less than a year ago and we're looking at all the things that are on our dream list. But I also have memories of talking to my parents. Like I drove past our childhood home not too long ago and was telling my parents like, oh, this is what the new owners have done to the house that we haven't lived in like 15 years. They've done all this stuff in the front. They built out this like front porch. And my mom was like, I always wanted to do that. I was like, oh, so there are some things on my list that'll just never happen then. I'll just, I will leave this house with unfinished business.
Yeah. That's why the ghosts come back. So you are going to, you're in dangerous territory right now because you're at the position where you still see the stuff because you just moved in. And you got to knock it out then, because if you don't, you become blind to it and then you never do a single thing about it.
Yeah.
This garage was 6 years where I was just like, I got in there and I was like, at some point I should really make this nicer in here. Maybe like when I have a little bit of a break, maybe I'll just make this back room really nice. And then I just got so used to it that I was like, oh no, I freeze in there in the winter and I bake in there in the summer, and that's just how I write. And it wasn't until like one day where I was writing and then felt something crawling on my leg and saw a giant spider where I was like, fuck this. I'm done in here. Yeah. This human shouldn't live like this.
It's a real risk that I'll be giving someone a tour and I'll be describing my plans for the garage/shed. Be like, yeah, we would like to tear this down and like build something a little bit smaller and move it over a bit so we're utilizing our yard better. And they'll be like, Dad, when?
Yeah. Whenever you want to pull the trigger, I'm into it. I'll do it for you. I've got a couple contractors that I use for my house. Hey, if you're starting your own business, one of the hardest things is all the hats. You have so many different hats to wear, especially if you're opening a business as like a competitor to Lids. I think you'd have even more hats to deal with. But in general, the figurative hats, all the different things that you have to take care of, there's so many details that are so hard to consider, and there's not somebody just holding your hand through the whole process to be like, hey, here's another thing you didn't even consider that you have to take care of. Well, now there is. When you're starting off with something new, it seems like your to-do list keeps growing every day with new tasks, and that list can easily begin to overrun your life. Finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything can be a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. You're just getting started. You have essentially your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify can help you build a beautiful online store to match your brand and style. Accelerate your content creation. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create emails and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to the international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. What I love most about Shopify is that even if you're just starting out, or you're a monster behemoth of a business like mine, if you are somebody who's like competing with the top dogs out there already, Shopify can still help us at any stage of your business. So turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/QQ. Go to shopify.com/QQ. Shopify.com/QQ.
We got to get into the show. And it can't be about home repair. The last episode was about home repair.
Okay, well, I have a quick question for you.
Go for it.
Unless I'm derailing you. Is there something else you want to talk about? You write something else down you wanted to do?
No, I really was like, we got to move on. And I had no landing pad. Great.
Okay, well, good. Then let me be your parachute. Daniel, do you watch Hard Knocks?
No.
You know what Hard Knocks is?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's just...
Wait,
you just got to remember that. We did. And in fact, the last time Hard Knocks came up on this podcast, you said, "I know this won't matter to you because you don't watch Hard Knocks." Like you have.
Was that a year ago?
Within the last month, you have forgotten that you used to know this about me.
Oh shit.
It's okay.
So anyway, do you watch it? I watch it. It's a show on HBO Max where they just follow an NFL team around for the beginning of the season. It's like preseason when they're playing their preseason games. And then also there's all these guys on the bubble that they're following that are like, they may make the team, they may not make the team. They are by no means ever going to be the star of the team. But it is like, hey, there's more than just the 3 guys you know from every team. There's like there's a real hustle happening here where these guys are like working their ass. You've got always some long-haired tight end who's a real freak who you're like, man, I'm really rooting for that weirdo. And almost never do they make the team. But then they get like picked up on a practice squad on another team. But I was watching Hard Knocks and I was like found myself doing that thing I do when I found out how much sex was happening at the Olympic Village, where I start to get very jealous. And I was like, what am I feeling right now? And I was really checking in on it. And I was realizing that they've got like a lot of shots of Josh Allen, who is the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. He's got all these cameras around him, and all the quarterbacks do, where they're like monitoring how they throw the ball, exactly how their release is, and like how they could be doing it better, how they could better use their bodies at every single turn. So you've got this 360 view of somebody throwing a ball, and you're just isolating tiny little motions to try and maximize how well they throw. And they're kind of doing it. I mean, that's the one we see, but they're doing that for every player, obviously. There's amazing conditioning that's happening there, weight training. It's like top of the line, the forefront of movement. Like, they know what they're doing when they train these guys. And I was thinking, that's it. I want to figure out how to just go to an NFL training camp. We're not going to be hitting yet. We're not in pads. Could I survive an NFL training camp?
Sure.
And I want to know, do you think that you could survive an NFL training camp?
Absolutely not. I would love to do it for a day though, I think similar reasons that you're talking about. And like, again, I've famously never seen Hard Knocks, but I've watched a lot of documentaries about the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry, and you'll get like clips of young superstars working with like a coach in high school who will say one thing to correct their shot that changes things forever. And I can't throw a fucking baseball. I can't throw a football. My body doesn't do any of the right things. And I think part of that is a lack of elite coaching.
The fault was theirs the whole time. I didn't have a clear ceiling.
There's in the way that like some like a bit of writing advice or a bit of improv or performance advice from the right person at the right time unlocked doors for me. I think there is probably someone who knows basketball so well that they could see the way I'm shooting and they know the right combination of words to correct everything. Because my dad coached me at Little League basketball, and he could correct anybody else doing just about anything. But there's some disconnect between my brain and my body that normal coaching can't unlock. But I think someone at the elite level could be like, here's the way you need to think about it. Think about your elbow like you're crushing tuna fish or whatever weird colloquialism they could come up with.
No, it is crushing tuna fish. That's what they say.
It's crushing tuna fish.
Yeah, it's not like a can of it. It's like if you pulled a tuna fish out of the ocean, how would you crush it? You know how your forearm and your bicep.
Keep tuna, this 60-pound tuna in the crook of your arm, and you gotta crush it before you allow it onto the boat.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. But no, I do think someone could, because like I've had a ton of different coaches and like friends and siblings and relatives who've tried to unlock things in me that they couldn't, when they're just like, when they'll say like, well, you're throwing a baseball, bring it back to like your ear and then do this and release it at a certain point. And I'm like, I am doing what I think you are describing. Yeah. And the fact that I'm not doing it right probably means someone needs to describe it to me differently.
Right. That's sad that you never got the right coach.
Do you have any idea how good I probably am at football, Soren?
Real good.
Just because the gym teachers lacked imagination and they didn't have the vocabulary to connect with me, who was operating on a different level. I mean, don't feel bad for me. Feel bad for the world for what they're missing out by not having
to see it. They never got to see. Yeah, that's right. Not only could you play football really well, you could be quarterback.
Yes.
I really want to, maybe if I was like a punter and I could just sit through training camp as a punter, if I could sneak on as a punter in training camp, I want to be there for the full thing. First of all, they get to stay in dorms, which I'm very enticed by the idea of. I love the idea of having to be somewhere 100%.
Yeah.
And then all they're doing all day is conditioning and working. And so they're learning so much about how to take care of your body in their diet, like everything about it. They're learning a ton. And I could take all of that information. I don't know how they know how lucky they are. Like, not everybody has that. They're like, your run, your gait, you're fixing your gait and stuff like that. If there's anything weird about it, they're like, no, you're like, I see what's happening here. You're not tipped forward enough. You're too up on your feet. Like all that type of stuff. Exercises, like they'll tell you how to, when you're fucking up with your squat. Like, I want all of that. I want to be stuff I will never use, like throwing a football. I want to know if I'm doing it right, and I want to do it right. And if I have all of that and I can just memorize it all in that week, fucking cut me. That's great.
Yeah.
I don't actually want to play football. I'm terrified to play football. Just tell me what I'm doing.
Do you know what else they get at these training camps? I don't know if this comes up on Hard
Injuries?
Knocks, but yeah, for sure.
Serious
Brain
injuries.
damage. I've talked about my buddy Ryan Holiday, who writes books about Stoicism, and he's very famous for writing books about Stoicism, and he is contracted to give talks all over the world on this subject. And a lot of this started, like, coaches would read his book, professional Belichick and other football coaches would I love how you're articulating turning obstacles into advantages, and I think this could really be applicable to my team. Will you come and speak to my team? Like, he was just doing this for a while, just like going and talking to teams. That is something that also happens at professional sports training camps that I would love to get. I would love an occasional guest speaker to just come in and talk about a bunch of shit. I never get that anywhere. Just someone who is like, these are lessons that I've learned from the ancient philosophers that I think could apply to football. That could apply to my life too.
And they're giving it to you in such an easy to digest shorthand, because you're dealing with football players. Like, you're dealing with guys who stopped trying at school in high school because they were like, oh, fuck, I'm really good at this other thing. I'm just going to focus on that.
Yeah. And you just like to, and I know this will appeal to you, but you wake up and you have like your morning run, and then it's breakfast time, and then it's gym time. You look at your schedule and it's gym time, and then it's this time, and then it's lunchtime, and then it's like, okay. And then for the next hour, the greatest speaker on Stoic philosophy on the planet is going to come in and talk to you for a little while. And then after that, it's yoga, and then after that it's dinner, and it's just like, man, that sounds nice.
Right.
Can we do that for more jobs, please?
And now I understand it's also like, I have not yet given credit to how fucking rough this is on a body, and like how hard a training camp is. I understand that. I'm willing to deal with it. I just want to learn the stuff, and I'm going to be throwing up out there. I might be passing out occasionally. That's fine. I'm not trying to make the fucking team. When we're like running drills and they're like, if you want to succeed, like, you've got to give it your all. I'll be like, I don't want to succeed. I'm going to give 60%, and that's what you're going to get from me. They're not going to cut me before the end of training camp.
Yeah.
Nobody gets that.
Fucking 15 years of education has been spent learning mostly stuff I'm not going to do, but it was still okay to go through the motions.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Give me a little bit of math.
Okay, so another thing that they do in these that I haven't mentioned yet is that there's one of their favorite things on Hard Knocks is when they're all in the room and like they do something nice for the boys, where they they get a mentalist to come in and like fuck up their, and be like, hey, think of an animal. You're thinking of an elephant. You know how I know that? Because I've set you up the entire day to think of an elephant. And everyone in the room is like, ah, and they all go nuts for this stuff. One of the things that they did in this recent one is they had an improv comedian come in and play improv games, like the warm-up games, basically, with the players in front of all the other players. They'd pull like 5 up. And it's games like, he points to you and he says a word like Charlie's Angels, and then the two people on either side of you have to put their guns up to the side, and then you have a gun up in the middle. And he's like elephant, and then two people are on the sides as the ears, and one is the trunk in the middle. And as you go through, like, you have to know, as soon as he says your thing, you have to get it right or you're out. It's just a warm-up game. It's an improv warm-up game. And these football players have never seen anything like this before. This is alien technology to them. And so, like, when it's working, they are fucking going nuts. They love it. They're the best audience you could possibly have. And I'm like, I don't need an education in philosophy to do that. I know these improv games. I could teach some football players how to play Zip Zap Zoom.
Sure.
Sell the room, and then be like, hey, can I just stick around for a training game?
That is not the name of the game.
Zip Zap Zoom?
No, Zip Zap Zop.
Well, okay. No.
So
no. I agree to disagree here. I'm putting my foot down. Zip Zap Zoom.
We can search it.
Is it regional?
I'm seeing Zip Zap Zop, like, before I even type the third Z. Oh, Zip Zap Zoom. There it is. Okay, so maybe this is regional. Zip Zap Zoom is a group game similar to Zip Zap Zop.
It says superior to Zip Zap Zop. Yeah. Well, then you have the wrong AI.
All right. Then we are both. We're
kind of right.
Okay, we're both a little bit right.
So I could teach them that, and then maybe they let me just hang out, and then I get to, first of all, I get to talk to people like Josh Allen and be like,
sure,
dude, buddy, we're the same.
Do you? What would you do after the training camp once you've learned how to at your age? Now you know the best way to throw a football.
Yes.
What do you do with that?
Coach.
Okay.
So a lot of that information will be stuff that I don't use, like school. A lot of it's going to be like shit that I'm just going to have in my back pocket, that, like, I go to the beach with friends and we're throwing a football. And I'm like, fucking go 70 yards away from me and I will throw this at you. It's going to be rad. Just trust me. But it would help with, like, yeah, if my son ever played, like, cause I do coach baseball, and it's really hard. It's really hard when, like, a kid shows up who throws from their ear, which means they just pull the ball back to here and throw, and their parent is like, "Can you fix this?" And I'm like, I don't even know if I remember how to throw a ball all of a sudden. Like, the mechanics are it's such muscle memory for me that I don't remember how to start again. So, like, learning that again, and, like, learning how where you hold a ball, how you open up your body. So, like, you're stepping and the other arm's going back, keeping on a plane above your head as opposed to down here by your ear. Like, there's all kinds of things that I learn along the way. Yeah, not there. So up and back. Or, no, not behind your head. That's what Gilly does. Gilly throws like way back here, and I'm like, well, now oh, good. There's a jackhammer.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Well, we're just gonna talk through it. Sorry, everybody. And so, like, learning again how to throw a ball so that I can teach somebody else how to do it has been really tough. And so if there was somebody who was there doing it for me, I'd be like, I would be taking notes every single fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, or like their center of gravity. When they talk to linemen and about blocking, it's like there's so much of it is getting down low and then coming up and like keeping your feet under you. Things I have no idea about, like things that just don't look like anything when you look at it, but they're doing minute little things that are very, or like defensive edges, like they're coming off the snap and they can get their bodies so low, like a motorcycle in a race, like they're like diagonal in the air and then they can pop up again. It's like, I would love to learn how to do all that stuff.
We had in the weekly fitness class that I do, I had a different coach today than I normally do because I went at a different time, and she caught me holding my lower back at one point because of my herniated and bulged disc that I have for the rest of my life, and she, like, singled me out in class and was like, "Do you have back problems?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's fine." She's like, "No, do you want to stretch it out? Do you want to, like, fix it?" Not fix it, but like pay more attention to it. And she kept an eye on it for the rest of class and was like, I moved on to a different station and she was like, "You're not doing this, you're doing this other thing." She's telling me when to like cool it and when not to do things and cater like the the post-workout stretches around lower back stuff for me. And I wanted to be like, hey, will you come home with me and watch me mow the lawn too? Like there's so much stuff I do around the house that I would love to do correctly.
I don't think I can go to physical therapy because I know that if I went, I'd be like, okay, well, I've got this shoulder thing, but really there's about 6 other things I'd also just like to bend your ear about. Like that if we could just do these things together, it would be really helpful to me. Watch me do this. Now watch me do this. What is this thing? What is this thing I'm feeling in the mornings? Like, I would love that.
Ideally, I would love to bring in like home security cam footage of me doing things, because I'm going to be on my best behavior when I'm doing it in class or for my physical therapist. But like, see what I'm actually like when I'm working at the computer all day, and I don't think anyone's watching. That's the stuff that needs fixing.
Somebody who's there to everything, they're just going to strengthen your joints. They're going to make sure you've got flexibility. They're going to make sure you're operating at maximum capacity. And that's my dream.
Yeah.
Maximum capacity. I want that on my tombstone. He operated at maximum capacity.
Well, he wanted to operate at maximum capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, we're back to home repairs, where you're going to talk about your dream, and then your kids are going to be like, Dad, when?
Yeah.
Will you be operating at maximum capacity?
This is like, I don't care how much work it is. This is different than my home improvement. Well, I guess home improvement, so you're like relying on other people, and that's where it gets tricky. But like for your own body, if somebody was like, here, it's going to take a lot of work, but like, here are the things I want you to do, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to do that plus everything I've been doing previously, because I don't want to lose it. All that's now magic to me. And so like, I just going to keep doing anything I've been doing. So basically, I'm just piling workout on top of workout on top of stretches on top of stretches, that I'm like building up this database of stuff. If somebody was like, hey, here's a brand new workout, if you just do this, it would be great for your shoulders or whatever, I'd be like, cool, I will do that. And then I will do my normal shoulder workout because that's what I've been doing.
I think what all this is making me think is that from pop culture, midlife crises get a bad rap. It always seems like someone is like dyeing their hair or buying a sports car. But that's not what it's about. It's about wanting to fix things and change things. It's about you had time before, and now you have time.
It's about saying enough is enough. That's a midlife crisis. I'm not going to get a car. I'm going to do something deeply selfish. I'm going to go to Buffalo for a week and live in a college dorm room. Yes, that's selfish.
Not one of those
I need it.
idiots who buys a sports car. I just need to relocate for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of money on plane tickets. Yes.
For the kids.
This is a long-term investment.
It's so I can be a better coach to the kids.
I would hope that that's where I could use it. In likelihood, I would never be able to. Yeah. But, I mean, all the workout stuff, I would. Just seeing, like, if they're going to give you different routines every single day, same way you would with, like, a trainer. A trainer's going to be like, all right, well, let's shock the muscles. Like, let's do something brand new. And you'd be like, oh, I never even thought about doing it this way. Like, they're going to give you a bunch of that shit. And if you can just write it all down. This is all I do on Facebook every single day. Is like I go through and look at these. My algorithm feeds me different workouts, and I'm like, okay, I'll try that one. Yeah, and then I go do it. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, that was nice. That's going in the collection. Like that, I'll add that to the arsenal. And other ones, I'm like, this was just like they're just trying to get clicks. They're like, hey, the worst thing you could be doing for your chest is flies, and you're like, uh-oh. That's what everybody does. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing instead. Oh, I'm supposed to be throwing a hammer. Interesting.
It's funny to me that those are the things that work on you. The viral workout things that are always going to catch me in their little traps are 100% things like, according to Men's Health, this is what Tom Holland did to get in shape for Spider-Man. And I'm like, yeah, that's the workout that I want to do too. And then I do it. We talked about this before, but
yeah, you see the bodies.
It was the Miles Teller Top Gun exercise, but just like
there was one that got you before that. The Chris Pratt one got you before that.
Did it really? That sounds right. I mean, it's even though I know they're wrong and I know they don't work, it's still, you get a headline that is like, here is what this person did to get in shape for this fucking Marvel movie. And I'll be like, yes.
Yeah. Well, because you can see it.
I know.
You're like, oh, I would also like to look like that and be that tall.
Yeah.
Surely I could do that. I understand that Colleen had a friend, and her husband was a trainer for guys who were doing movies like 400 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh,
the sequel that no one talks about.
400. They should get more attention. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think there actually was a sequel to that movie, but it was not called 4. Yeah, I think it was not called 400.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was a sequel or a prequel, but it was definitely bad.
Yeah, something that wasn't about Thermopylae and nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
But, 300. So it was like getting those guys in really, really good shape. And I was like, maybe I'll work out with this guy. Then I started to realize he was constantly injured. And I was like, oh, right. If you're going to get somebody in shape super, super fast, you're pushing that body to the point where it's not a healthy situation.
Yeah.
It's something you can maintain for long periods of time. I don't think I want to do this.
No. And the very annoying thing about the Tom Holland workout or the Miles Teller or Chris Pratt workout, it's what I say is true. I want to get in that really good shape, and I'm looking for the list of exercises. That list exists. There's for all the new fads that come and go, there's like a pretty standard list of things that a person can do in the gym and in the kitchen that will get them where they want to go. And like, it's just pure stupidity or ADD on my part that I'm like, no, they haven't cracked it yet. They haven't written the right list, and the new list will be the correct one. It's like, no, it's like the boring stuff that's been true since before I was born.
Sort of. And I don't mean to feed this part of you that you don't like, but there are just like baseline workouts that you could do that would make you better, that would like make you stronger, make you like look stronger too, which I think is always like a goal of everybody too. Mm-hmm. But then you're kind of like, you can reach a plateau in that. And then beyond that, it's individual body types. And so like some guy could be like, this is the way to do it. But if you don't have the same type of body as him, that's not actually going to work super well for you. Yeah. And so you're just like sort of doing like this scatter plot of like, well, what is everybody saying? What is with the ones like trying to find ones from each individual person and like pull from, same with the writing. Like writing's a great example. How do you write? You can read something like Stephen King's on writing and you're like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, that's how you should do it. But it's not necessarily true. There's like a lot of conflicting information out there from other writers who are like, no, that's not how I do it at all. In fact, that would be really detrimental to my writing. And so you got to kind of like go through all of them. And then you find the one where you're like, oh, this is working for me. I see. This is like for my type of brain. Yeah. And then it works. Sorry. So
it's okay.
Maybe some racist in origin theory, in orange theory, will help you. Dan, I have another quick question for you.
Hit me.
Are you familiar with the show Game Changer?
Yes, on Dropout. Love it.
Yeah. I don't actually know this. How do you? I don't even know how you'd watch anything on Dropout, other than if you're on Facebook and it just comes across your feed.
I am one of many proud subscribers to Dropout.
Oh, so you just subscribe and you watch it on your computer?
I subscribe and I pay money and I watch it on dropout.tv. Yeah, I had a free trial in the beginning because when Dropout first launched, I did some work for them on the text side of things.
Oh, okay.
And I got hooked pretty early. And then when my subscription ran out, I just kept paying with actual money.
Okay. Well, for anyone who doesn't know, Game Changer is like a game show. Sam Reich hosts it, who used to run College Humor and now runs Dropout. And it's a game show where like, it's very confusing how the points matter, when the points matter. It's a game show that's designed to like deconstruct what a game show is, basically. But he has comedians on. He's got this stable of comedians that he's gathered, and like they're the ones who exist throughout the Dropout network. They're like on every single one of the shows, but he's just cycling them through a group of very funny people doing a bunch of different funny stuff. And I had a dream the other night. So I watched the show. I watched Dropout. I had a dream the other night that I was asked to be on Dropout, which isn't inconceivable.
No,
it's not inconceivable, given that like we had like a shared history that like we all knew each other.
Yeah.
That I got asked to be on Dropout. And I was like, as I'm not on Dropout, on Game Changer. And I'll just say that even within the dream, Dan, it was just at every turn me mitigating disaster because of how bad I was doing and how bad it was going. There's a lot asked of the contestants on that show. There's a lot of vulnerability asked of them because they're like on the spot, asked to do like a short little improv scene every once in a while and be really funny.
Yeah.
And that muscle is atrophied. I don't have that anymore. I'll also say everybody on the show, 10 to 15 years younger than I am.
Sure.
So there's also a real generational disconnect as well that I think would be a big hindrance if I was ever on this show. And it was a nightmare. This was a honest to God nightmare that I was on Game Changer. And I woke up because I've always watched that show just like Taskmaster and thought, this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think I would like to do something like this. This would be great. I don't want to play the game. I don't want to play the game anymore. My dream was like, you're not ready for this, man. And you're not going to be. Your ship has sailed.
Can I tell you? So our listeners should know that Soren and I discussed this yesterday. He was texting me that he had this nightmare about being on Game Changer. And would we be able to talk about it for an episode of the show? He texted me this yesterday. Last night, it infected me. And I had a nightmare about having to do improv, not through Game Changer, but like you incepted me. Because when you texted me, I was like, I think I could probably do Game Changer. I think I could have fun. And like improv is never really a muscle you lose. You can just like always stay sharp. And even though it's a dream, a nightmare where it's not real, it was real enough that I was like, that's probably how I would handle an improv situation right now. Whereas like, not only was my improv bad, but there was a group going before my group, and I got to the theater late and made a loud noise in the audience. And the people on stage called me out for it. And I didn't even have a funny thing to say then. And then their show wrapped up, and it was my turn to be on stage. And I was just like, this is what, like, even in a dream, even with the power of dreams, it doesn't need to make sense. Can't I just be like, spiritually a good improviser in the dream? No. I was drawing blanks on stage in a way that felt very real to me.
It's such a cruel thing for your brain to do, because in my dream, everybody else was doing pretty good. And when I look back on like what they were doing, I was like, oh, that is funny. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I just couldn't give it to myself. I was making all of that up. I was everybody. But I wasn't going to let myself succeed.
I'm in a scene with 4 people, and all the other people are like doing business that my subconscious gave them to do. But the character of Daniel was just incapable of making a choice. It was just like, all right, that guy's sweeping, so I can't sweep. That guy's on his phone. I can't do that. This guy's got a little accent. They took all the good ones. And it's like, no, you took all the good ones.
Just like presentationally, they are very funny people. Everybody that Sam has found, he's done right. Like he found the right ones. And there's nobody on that show who's a weak link. Like they're all really fun. They're fun to watch, and they do a good job. And I think he also has them play to their strengths a little bit, or the writers do. But given that this is like on the spot every time, and that's sort of the point of the show, I'm so amazed every single time I watch it. And I'm like, I don't think I have this in me. Maybe at one point I did.
It's also, it's wild because like I mentioned that I'm doing Behind the Bastards today. I'm going into this, even though I don't know who the bastard is going to be. I am preparing myself to have things to say and be in the moment and respond to things. Because I want to, and I'm listening to the show to refamiliarize myself with like the most recent episodes to see if there's anything instructive there. And this is the level of preparation I do to be a guest on a nonfiction podcast, just trying to figure out where I fit in and what I'm supposed to do functionally. I don't know how anyone prepares for Game Changer, because like the spirit of the show is the contestants don't know what the theme of the show is going to be. And they just have to like show up to work and get behind a podium knowing that this episode could be like Survivor, or this episode could be a singing episode, or it could be one where you're doing impressions, or where you're like playing characters, whatever it is. And they just like, I don't know, put on a fucking shirt and go to work. And I just don't know if they asked us to be on Game Changer, how I would prep for the unknown. I don't think I would do well with it. I would like, maybe I could just like try to script a few improv bits.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in a show like Taskmaster feels infinitely easier than Game Changer, where I'm like, oh, I'm just doing the task and like, I can be funny as I'm doing whatever this is. That's no problem. It's like, you've got to come up with scenes on the spot and stuff like that. Or you've got to figure out if Sam is just fucking with you.
Yes.
And like making it hard on you. There are people on the show who I see, they're like, do something incredibly vulnerable right now. That's Sam. It's like Sam says, do something incredibly vulnerable right now. And so somebody's like as somebody who weighs 270 pounds will be like, you know what? I've never been able to do one of these, but I want to try it right now. I'm going to do a cartwheel. And you're like, oh my God, no. I can't look at this. They do it. It's bad. And it's like devastating. And it looks like they're injured. And he gets up after a little while of laying there and he goes, I'm going to try it again. You're like, oh God. How are you doing this? I just don't think there's enough space to store my ego.
No.
And put it aside. I have to wear it because it's all I have.
It's not the spirit of the game to, you never see the contestants who are like, can we cut that? Can we please cut that part where I embarrass myself, or you never see contestants asking for a little bit more time to come up with their improv.
Yeah. Or they're not stumbling, which is a fantastic and amazing. And I don't understand that either, because I used to do improv, even at like the height of my improv, which was not high. It was like the foothills of my improv. I was still stumbling over words, or like deciding in the middle of a sentence something that would be a little bit better, and like trying to like retcon it. It just sounds messy generally when you don't have scripted lines, and they're not doing that either. And I'm like, what the fuck? So mad at these people, these youngins.
I know. I was I was a guest on I think it's called Going Down Live now. It used to be called Late Stage Live.
That's right.
They had me on last year, and it was incredibly loose, and it was like improv-y game type situation where I'm playing a heightened version of myself as a late night television writer, and we mapped out story beats together, and over and over again the writers were like, it's fun, it's easy, you're set up for success, just come out here and like hit these beats. And I scripted so many fucking alts for myself in this like loose improvised thing. And it was like me and I've talked about this before, Martin Urbano, who's a fantastic comedian and writer, and he was like truly in the moment, truly like didn't prepare anything. Like we were talking backstage and he was like, it seems like this should be pretty easy, pretty fun, just like go out there and do stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, as I'm cycling through like 3 pages of alts, fake off the cuff things that I can say.
It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous because if you've got good ones, you're gonna want to use them, and then you're like trying to shoehorn it in a place where it doesn't totally fit, and then the joke doesn't land, and you're like, ah, shit. I should either save that one or just not used it. What a waste.
Yep.
That's how stand-up was for us. When we first started. You and I had a very similar temperament when it came to stand-up, where it was like, oh no, I'm not just going to go up there with the idea of a joke. I'm going to get it perfect on paper, and then I will say it. Yeah.
And I eventually lost that, and I got more comfortable just sort of like going up on stage and talking and being funny, which is, stuff that we did on panels and live podcasts. Once we had practiced it enough, and I started to feel like this is the probably the best use of whatever my art happens to be. But I've lost all that. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. We have time for this. I've noticed that doing this podcast with you, I've become a terrible conversationalist in my everyday life. Like just hanging out in groups or hanging out with one other individual person, I cannot fucking help myself when starts to be a silence. You and I think, have a very good sense of like when to pick up a conversation and when to like let the other person speak. And like when the other person seems like they're starting to dwindle out, it's like you come in and swoop on her and like, then you start talking for a while. And like we're very good at that only because we've been together for so long in our relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
But you don't have that with other people. And so you're just like, you're kind of listening to them, but you're also like, what is a story I could do? Here we go. This will burn some time. And then it's just like, it's just who I am now. And it's not a likable person.
No, we're just podcasting 24/7.
I can't. That's just how conversations work to me now, where I'm just waiting. I'm like, oh, fuck, that reminds me of this. Oh, that would be a fun one. I bet people would like that one. I bet the people listening at home would like that one.
Yeah. Just sitting around, I'm like, Mom, this was such a great dinner. We'll be right back.
Yeah. After these ends. All right. Well, let's be done.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been Quick Question with Soren and Daniel. You knew that. If you liked our theme song, that's by me, Rex. You can find their music anywhere you stream music. If you want a video version of this podcast, you can do that on YouTube. We also are on Apple subscriptions. I think that we have a video version there as well. And if you were on Apple subscriptions, you could also find the better, I don't want to say better, the different and shorter version of this podcast we do for our Patreon subscribers. You can find that on Patreon or on Apple subscriptions. And if you like this podcast in general, that's because of our very monogamous he's monogamous in that he only works for us. Gabe Harder, our monogamous producer, who will not answer your calls. I promise you. He just works for us. Not interested in updating his website. Wants to know other jobs other than ours. That's it. Bye.
I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all the we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Daniel, O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.